Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and today's species spotlight is on the blue tang, also known as the regal tang, hippo tang, or dory. This is Rankin's my blue tang, and he is absolutely beautiful. I just wish my camera could capture this guy's real colors. He looks nice on the camera, but if you could see him in real life, the electric blue is just amazing on this fish. Now, this is the second blue tang that I've ever owned. The first blue tang that I purchased, I bought 10 years ago, and it was a little tiny 1-inch guy that I kept in my 29-gallon tank. And I really don't recommend you do this, but he was very inexpensive, and I was a very inexperienced reefer. And he lived for about 6 months and died. I'm not sure why he died, but that was also the same tank that I had salinity issues with. So that very well could be it. Now this is Rankin's. Rankin's is a fish that I've owned for 3.5 years now. And he is absolutely beautiful and one of my favorite fish in this tank. He's probably 6-7 inches long, and believe it or not, he's only about half grown. These guys will get nearly a foot. They really do get big. So you need a tank with a lot of swimming room. You can see how much swimming this guy is actually doing. So I have a 210-gallon tank that I keep Rankin's in. I used to keep him in a 90-gallon tank, and for a mid-sized tang, that's fine. But a full-grown blue tang is really only fit for a 6-foot tank, in my opinion. Which is part of the reason I have a 6-foot tank these days, is this guy was really outgrowing the old 90-gallon. He really is a pretty good-sized fish. Downside to blue tangs is they are ick magnets. They really, if there's any ick parasites in your tank, they will get it. Now, I've been really lucky. Rankin's has had 3 bouts of ick, and every time we've been able to battle it and get him through it. And that's kind of rare. I mean, a lot of times these guys get ick, they die. And it's their susceptibility to ick that is the reason I am so anal about quarantining fish these days. Any fish that I bring into the tank, I quarantine for 3 weeks to a month before it comes into the tank. Because I am not willing to lose this fish because I did something stupid. In my experience, this guy has been really easy to keep. He eats nori, and I feed him the LRS food, and he also eats pellets. He really is just a pig. When it comes time to feed him, I just throw nori on the top of the tank and he attacks it. And it's the same deal with the LRS or the pellets that I feed him. Both I just dump in the tank and he attacks it. Now, aggression is another issue with these blue tangs. They are really aggressive towards their own species, which is the reason I only have 1 blue tang in my tank. I'd probably have a couple of them if they weren't so aggressive towards each other. In fact, they're kind of aggressive towards any tang. He and my purple tang really do get into it. It's never bad, nobody ever gets really hurt, but they're always sparring to see who's the dominant fish in the tank. And of course, Rankin's always proves to be king. Sometimes care just comes down to luck. I got really lucky with Rankin's. He's been really healthy. He's been able to go through any disease I've put him through. He's gone through all the stressors of me going from a fairly incompetent reefer to somebody who's pretty decent. A lot of websites list these blue tangs as easy. And that just isn't the case. They are not an easy fish to keep. They are intermediate at best, and really, you should be a good fish keeper before buying one of these. They are just a relatively difficult fish to keep. I've had 3 rounds of ick, and I know other people who've had problems with this. And I know Steve Rotter, if you're not familiar with this channel, check it out. It's RotterTube Reef. He's had 3 of these fish. Steve does a great job with his tanks. He does a really good job quarantining, and he's had 3 of these, and none of these have made it in his tank. Now, my healthy tang I chalk up to good water conditions. Basically, if you can keep a reef happy, you'll keep one of these happy. No nitrates, no ammonia, none of that. Although moderate levels of nitrates aren't going to mess with this guy too much. And good nutrition make a huge difference, and the right tank mates and the right size make a huge difference. But nonetheless, do everything right with these fish, and sometimes you just still can't keep them. Once you've got a blue tang in your tank and it's established its environment, it's used to captivity, they're super easy to take care of. But getting one to this point can be difficult. You'll hear a lot of talk about when to put tangs in your tank. A lot of people say put them in first, a lot of people say put them in last because they're aggressive. In my experience, you kind of put them in as you have time and money to do it, right? And that strategy works for the most part. But it's also the reason I've become much more conservative with my fish strategy. I'm at the point where I only put 1 tang of each genus in my tank. If you've seen my other videos, you saw when I had a purple tang and a yellow tang. They're both Zebrosomas, and I put them both in the same tank. They did fine for a year. Then Pinky snapped, and of course, I had to tear my whole tank apart to get him out. So, to not repeat that, my new rule is 1 tang, 1 genus. Never overlap. So there we have it. There's my blue tang. I absolutely love these fish, and I actually enjoy the challenge that comes with keeping this fish. I definitely don't recommend these to brand new hobbyists. They are just really challenging. So when the movie Finding Dory comes out, please don't buy one of these until you're ready for it. Really research the fish before you buy one. Otherwise, if you know what you're doing, you've got the right tank for a blue tang, these are a fantastic, challenging fish. So if you liked this video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. I'm always making new videos.